He walks in at 11:47 p.m. on a Thursday, and the first thing I notice is that he's soaking wet. Not the kind of wet where you got caught in a drizzle and your jacket's damp. The kind of wet where you've been standing in the rain for a long time, or running in it, and you've stopped caring whether you drown. His coat, expensive, the kind of cut that screams money even when it's ruined, hangs heavy on his shoulders. Water pools on my floor the moment he crosses the threshold. His dark hair is plastered to his forehead. His eyes are unfocused. His hand grips the doorframe like the room might tilt if he lets go. I've been bartending at the Rusty Nail for 3 years. I've seen every kind of person walk through that door. The after-work crowd with their loosened ties and performative laughter. The lonely regulars who come for the ritual, more than the drink. The college kids who tip in coins and complain about the jukebox. I've never seen anyone walk in looking like the world just ended, and they're the only one who noticed. Kitchen's closed, I say, because it's almost midnight, and that's what I say to everyone who walks in after 11 looking lost. But I can get you a drink. He doesn't respond. He walks to the bar. Not walks, moves, like a man navigating through fog, and sits on the last stool, the one in the corner, tucked against the wall, half hidden by the angle of the bar, the seat people choose when they don't want to be seen. "Whiskey," he says. His voice is low, controlled in a way that sounds practiced, like he's holding himself together with nothing but willpower and diction. I pour him a Jameson. He wraps both hands around it and stares at the amber liquid like he's reading his future in it. "Bad night?" I ask. He looks up at me. His eyes are dark brown, almost black in the bar light, and when they find mine, something in them flickers. Recognition, maybe, except we've never met, or desperation. The look of someone who has been alone with something terrible for too long, and is one question away from breaking. "You could say that," he says. He doesn't drink. He sits there with his hands around the glass, and I go back to wiping down the bar, and the rain hammers the windows. And we exist in the amber quiet of a place that's almost closed, almost empty, almost safe. Almost. The door opens again at 12:15 a.m. She's not a regular. I can tell because she scans the room the way cops do, methodical, corner to corner, cataloging exits and occupants and threats. Dark blazer, practical shoes, a badge on her belt that she's not trying to hide. "I'm Detective Rowan," she says, sliding onto a stool across from me. "I'm looking for someone." She pulls out her phone, shows me a photograph of a man, mid-40s, silver hair, expensive smile, the kind of face that looks like it's been professionally maintained. "Victor Ashworth," she says, "business partner of a man named Julian Cross. Mr. Ashworth has been reported missing as of 8 hours ago. His car was found abandoned near the waterfront. His phone is off. His wife hasn't heard from him since yesterday morning." My heart rate picks up. I don't let it show. Bartending has given me a decent poker face. "I don't recognize him," I say, and that part's true. I've never seen the man in the photo. What about tonight? Anyone unusual come in? Anyone who seemed out of place? I feel it before I think it. The pull, the instinct, the irrational, inexplicable certainty that what I say next matters in a way I don't fully understand. The man in the corner hasn't moved. He's sitting with his back to the detective, his hands still wrapped around the glass, his shoulders rigid. From where Rowan is sitting, she can't see him clearly, just a shape in the dark corner of a bar. "It's been dead all night," I say. "Just my regulars." She nods. She leaves a card. She walks out. The door closes behind her. and the silence that follows is the loudest thing I've ever heard. The man in the corner sets down his glass. He turns to look at me, and the expression on his face, gratitude and guilt and something I can't name, tells me everything I need to know. I just lied to a detective for a complete stranger, and I have no idea why. His name is Julian Cross. I learn this not from him. He leaves that night without another word, without paying, without explaining, but from the news the next morning. Julian Cross, co-founder of Cross and Ashworth Capital, a private investment firm worth $2 billion. His business partner, Victor Ashworth, vanished 3 days ago, along with $400 million from client accounts. The investigation is ongoing. Julian Cross has not been named as a suspect, but his name is everywhere. In the articles, the headlines, the speculation. A man worth $1 billion sat in my bar and drank whiskey he didn't pay for, and I told a detective he'd been there all night. I should call Rowan. I should correct my statement. I should do the rational, legal, self-preserving thing. Instead, I go to work, and I pour drinks, and I wonder what it is about a man's eyes in the dark that made me throw away my common sense. He comes back the next night, and the next, and the next. Always at the same time. 11:47, like it's a ritual, like the exact minute he walked in the first time. Has become a covenant neither of us agreed to. Always the same stool. Always the same whiskey he orders and barely touches. He sits in the corner of my bar and he watches me work, and we don't speak, and the silence between us grows into something that has weight and texture and warmth. I learn his habits without meaning to. The way he turns the glass clockwise, always clockwise, 3 times before setting it down. The way his eyes track the door every time it opens. Not fear, exactly, more like a reflex. The way he tips excessively and leaves the money tucked under the glass, so I don't notice until he's gone. My regulars start to notice him. Tommy, the retired firefighter who drinks 2 beers every Wednesday, leans over one night and says, "Who's your shadow?" Nobody. Nobody tips $100 on a $12 whiskey. Maybe he's bad at math. Maybe he's sweet on the bartender. I throw a towel at Tommy. He catches it, grinning. In the corner, the stranger, Julian, though I still don't know his name at this point, watches the exchange with something that might be amusement. It's hard to tell in the dark. I call my mother on the second night. Not about him. I wouldn't know what to say. But because lying to a detective has made me feel untethered, and my mother's voice is the closest thing to an anchor I have. "You sound stressed," she says. She lives in Vermont now, in a house with too many cats and a garden she overestimates her ability to maintain. I'm fine. You're using your lying voice. I don't have a lying voice. Gemma, I've known you for 26 years. You absolutely have a lying voice. She's right. Apparently everyone can tell when I'm lying except Detective Rowan. On the 4th night, I break. "You have to stop coming here," I say. "I'm wiping the bar. I always wipe the bar when I'm nervous. It gives my hand something to do that isn't shaking. That detective could come back. If she sees you here..." "I know." "Then why do you keep coming?" He turns the glass in his hands. Once, twice. Sets it down. "Because you're the only person in this city who looked at me and didn't see a headline. I don't even know you. You lied for me, without knowing me, without knowing what I'd done or hadn't done. You looked at a man who walked in from the rain and you chose to protect him. He pauses. No one has done that for me in a very long time. That's not a reason to keep showing up. That's a reason to see a therapist. Something cracks in his face. Not a smile. Too sad for that. A recognition. Like I've said something he needed to hear and hated hearing at the same time. Probably, he says. Did you do it? I ask. The question falls out before I can stop it. Whatever they think you did, the missing money, your partner, did you do it? He looks at me, directly, completely, without the masks people wear when they're lying. No, he says. I believe him. God help me. I believe him. The fifth night, he tells me his story. The bar's closed, chairs on tables, lights dimmed, just the two of us, and a bottle of Jameson between us in a back booth. He talks and I listen, and what he tells me dismantles everything the headlines have built. Julian and Victor started Cross in Ashworth 15 years ago. College friends, different strengths. Julian was the strategist, Victor was the salesman. They built something real, a firm that actually delivered returns for clients, that didn't cut corners, that both of them were proud of. Then Victor changed, slowly, over years. Then all at once, new cars, new house, a lifestyle that outpaced even their considerable earnings. Julian noticed discrepancies in the accounts, small ones at first, then larger. When he confronted Victor, Victor denied everything. When Julian brought it to the board, Victor went to the clients directly and told them Julian was the one mismanaging funds. He turned them against me, Julian says. His voice is steady, but his hands around the glass are not. 15 years of trust, and he rewrote the entire history in a week. By the time I had proof of what he'd been doing, 400 million was gone, transferred to offshore accounts I can't trace. And Victor disappeared. Disappeared. With the money and the evidence and every trail that could prove I wasn't the one who took it. So he framed you. He framed me. And then he vanished. And now the detective and the media and the clients all think I'm the one who did it. I sit with this for a long time. The bar creaks in the way old buildings do at night, settling, breathing, holding its secrets. The night you came in, I say. The night I lied. Where had you been? Victor's office. I broke in looking for evidence, anything he might have left behind. Bank records, correspondence, a trail. I found. He reaches into his coat and pulls out a USB drive. Small, black, unremarkable. I found this. It was taped to the underside of his desk drawer. What's on it? Everything. Transaction records, offshore account numbers, a timeline of every transfer going back 3 years. It's enough to prove what he did. He sets the drive on the table between us. It's also encrypted, and I can't break it. So, you need someone who can. I need someone I can trust. He looks at me. You lied for a stranger. You didn't have to. You had nothing to gain and everything to lose. That makes you the only person in my life right now who I trust. You trust me because I broke the law for you. I trust you because you did it for no reason. People who lie for profit are predictable. People who lie because their gut tells them someone needs protection. Those people are rare. I look at the USB drive. I look at him. I think about the detective's card in my apron pocket, and the headlines on my phone and the rational, legal, self-preserving thing I should do. I pick up the drive. I know someone who might be able to break the encryption, I say. My roommate from college. She works in cybersecurity. Can she be trusted? She's the most paranoid person I know, which means, yes. He exhales. It's the first time I've seen his shoulders drop. Really drop, like a weight he's been carrying has shifted from his back to shared ground. "Thank you," he says. "Gemma." It's the first time he's said my name, my full name, not the abbreviated version on my apron tag. He must have asked someone, or maybe he looked it up the way you look up everything about a person who has become the hinge on which your fate swings. I didn't tell him. He must have read it off the schedule board behind the bar, or the nameplate I wear on my apron. Or maybe he asked someone. It doesn't matter. What matters is the way he says it. Carefully, like it's something valuable he doesn't want to break. "Don't thank me yet," I say. "If this blows up, I'm telling everyone you held me at gunpoint." He laughs, quiet, surprised, a little broken, like a man who forgot he knew how and just remembered. I should be terrified. I'm aiding a man the police might be looking at. I'm hiding evidence. I'm in this now, deep, and getting deeper. Every night he sits in my bar and looks at me like I'm the only real thing in a world made of mirrors. But I'm not terrified. I'm awake. For the first time in 3 years of pouring drinks and paying rent, and existing in the amber quiet of a life that never changed, I'm wide awake. I start researching on my own. In the mornings, before the bar opens, I sit in my apartment above the rusty nail with my laptop, and I read everything I can find about Cross and Ashworth Capital. The founding, the growth, the client list, the press coverage over the years, glowing profiles, industry awards, the kind of success story that makes people believe in the system. And I read about Victor Ashworth, his second wife, his homes, 3 of them, including one in the Cayman Islands that the articles describe as a vacation property, his charitable appearances, his smile in every photograph, wide, white, practiced. The smile of a man who has rehearsed sincerity until it looks genuine. Julian's photos are different. In every one, he's slightly off to the side, not quite in the spotlight, looking at the camera with an expression that isn't a smile. It's patience, the expression of a man who does the work while someone else takes the credit. I'm getting a picture, not from the evidence yet, but from the shape of 2 men's lives over 15 years. One who built, one who consumed, one who trusted, one who planned. On the 7th night, Julian brings me something. "I need to show you this," he says. He slides a phone across the bar. Not his phone, an old one, the kind you buy prepaid at a gas station. I found it in Victor's desk, hidden compartment. It has 1 contact saved. I look at the phone. The single contact is labeled. "Who's M?" I don't know. But there are 6 months of texts, all about money, all about timing, all about what Victor calls the exit. I read the texts. They're clinical, almost cold. Discussions of transfer protocols, identity documents, travel routes. The language of a man planning his disappearance the way other people plan vacations, methodically, eagerly. The last text, from M, reads, "Everything is in place. When you're ready, it's done. Just say the word." Victor's response, "Thursday. The Thursday he disappeared." "Someone helped him," I say. "Someone orchestrated it. Victor isn't smart enough to build this on his own. He's a salesman. He sells. Someone else built the infrastructure." M. We stare at the phone between us. The bar's silent. The rain has stopped. And the case that started as a disappearance and some missing money has just become something much bigger. My college roommate, Petra, cracks the encryption in 48 hours. What she finds makes her call me at 3 a.m. "Gemma, this is big," Like federal investigation, big. Whoever put this together wasn't just stealing. They were building an exit strategy. Offshore accounts in 4 countries. Shell companies. Even a new identity. Passport. Driver's license. The works. Someone planned to disappear and never come back. Victor Ashworth didn't just run. He engineered his own vanishing. A new name. A new life. Built over years. Transaction by transaction. While Julian stood beside him and trusted him with everything. I bring the evidence to Julian. We're in the booth again. Our booth. The one in the back corner that has become the center of whatever this is. He reads the documents on Petra's laptop, and his face does something I've never seen. It goes from composed to shattered, to furious to calm in under a minute, like a storm passing through in fast forward. 3 years, he says. He spent 3 years building his escape. While I was sitting across from him in meetings, while we were having dinner with clients, while he was best man at his 2nd wedding. Julian, he asked me to help him pick the venue for the wedding. I spent a Saturday driving around with him looking at vineyards, and the entire time he was already planning to disappear. His voice cracks on the last word. Not loudly. Just a hairline fracture. The sound of a man who has been holding himself together since the night he walked into my bar, and who is finally, in this back booth, found someone safe enough to break in front of. I think about my father. He left when I was 9. Not dramatically. No fight. No note. No door slamming in the middle of the night. He just didn't come home one Tuesday. And then he didn't come home the next Tuesday. And by the 3rd Tuesday, my mother stopped setting his place at dinner. I know what betrayal looks like from the outside. I know the shape it leaves in a family, in a life, in the way a person trusts, or doesn't trust, from that point forward. I've been serving drinks for 3 years in a bar that's half full of people trying to pour alcohol into the spaces where trust used to be. And now, I'm sitting across from a man whose best friend did to him what my father did to me. Chose himself. Chose escape. Chose disappearing over the hard, messy, beautiful work of staying. No wonder my gut said protect him. It recognized him. I reach across the table. I take his hand. He flinches. The instinct of someone who hasn't been touched gently in a long time. And then his fingers close around mine, and he holds on. We take this to the detective, I say. All of it. The drive, the decryption, the offshore accounts. It proves everything. It proves he did it. But it also proves I broke into his office, and that you lied to a detective. I know. Gemma, if they find out, they'll find out eventually. It's better if it comes from us. He looks at our hands, at the way his fingers are laced through mine, the way we fit together like something that was always supposed to connect, but never had the chance. You shouldn't be involved in this, he says. This isn't your fight. You're right. It wasn't. And then you walked into my bar looking like the end of the world, and I opened my stupid mouth, and now it is. You could have stayed out of it. I could have. But I didn't. Why? Because you looked like a man who needed someone to believe him, and I'm apparently incapable of not caring about people who walk in from the rain. He lifts my hand, presses his lips against my knuckles. It's not a kiss. It's a covenant. A promise made in the space between what's legal and what's right. Whatever happens next, he says, I need you to know. The night I walked through that door, I wasn't just running from something. I was running toward the only light I could see. That's very poetic for a finance guy. I contain multitudes. I laugh. He catches it, leans forward and kisses me mid-laugh. And it's the softest, most careful kiss I've ever received, like he's asking permission with his mouth and offering everything with his hands and hoping, terrified, desperate, unguarded, that I'll say yes. I say yes. Not with words, with the way I pull him closer by his collar, with the way my other hand finds the back of his neck, with the way I kiss him back in a closed bar at 2 a.m., with evidence of a financial conspiracy between us on the table, and a detective's card in my pocket, and absolutely zero rational justification for any of this. Some things don't need justification. Some things just need a bar, a rainstorm, and 2 people who are done being alone. The night before we go to Rowan, we sit on the roof of my building, the flat, ugly roof above the bar that I've never once used for anything, except checking the satellite dish when the TV goes out. But tonight, with a blanket and a bottle of wine and the city spread out below us like a circuit board, it feels like the center of the world. What happens if she arrests me? I ask. She won't. You don't know that. I know that the evidence we're giving her is worth more than a charge for obstruction. I know that detectives are pragmatic. And I know that... He stops, looks at me. I know that I won't let anything happen to you, whatever it takes. Julian, you can't promise. I can. I have lawyers, very expensive, very aggressive lawyers who have been waiting 3 weeks for me to give them something to do. You've had lawyers this whole time. I've had lawyers since the morning Victor disappeared. I just didn't have anyone to trust. Until me. Until you. The city hums below us. The wine is cheap. The blanket smells like the storage closet I pulled it from. And this man, this billionaire, this fugitive in all but name, this stranger who walked into my bar and turned my boring, predictable life into something I don't recognize, is sitting beside me on a dirty rooftop, looking at me like I'm the skyline. Tomorrow's going to be hard, I say. I know. Whatever happens, we do it together. Together, he says, and he takes my hand. We go to Detective Rowan together. I sit across from her in an interview room and I tell her the truth. That I lied. That Julian was in my bar that night, but not for the reasons she might think. That he came to me because he had nowhere else to go. I give her the drive. I give her Petra's decryption. I give her everything. She stares at me for a long time. You know I could charge you with obstruction, she says. I know. You lied to a detective investigating a federal case. I know. Why? I look at Julian through the glass partition. He's in the next room, giving his own statement. And even through the smudged glass, he looks like the man who walked into my bar. Soaked, shattered, holding himself together with nothing but willpower. Because sometimes you meet someone, and your gut says, protect them, and you listen, even when your brain says don't. Rowan studies me for a long time. She has the kind of face that's hard to read. Professional, controlled. The cop version of Julian's composure. You know what I've learned in 18 years of this work, she says. People who lie for strangers fall into 2 categories. The ones who are in on it, and the ones who see something the rest of us miss. She taps her pen on the table. I haven't decided which one you are yet. The second one. I know. That's what annoys me. She opens the folder with the decrypted evidence. She reads for 20 minutes. Her expression doesn't change, but her pen stops tapping, which I take as a good sign. This M person, she says. Your friend traced the phone? Prepaid. Bought with cash, but the texts reference specific banking protocols that only a handful of people in the industry would know. Petra cross-referenced the language with known associates of Victor Ashworth. And one name keeps coming up. Martin Hale. He's a financial advisor who worked with Victor privately, off the books, outside the firm. Julian didn't know about him. Rowan closes the folder, looks at me through the glass, then at Julian on the other side. "You've done more detective work in a week than my team has done in a month," she says. "That's either impressive or suspicious." "It's both. I bartend at night, and apparently solve financial conspiracies during the day now. I'm versatile." She almost smiles. Almost. She doesn't charge me. The evidence on the drive, combined with Petra's decryption work and the prepaid phone, gives Rowan's team more to work with in one afternoon than they'd gathered in 3 weeks. Martin Hale, the mysterious M, is brought in for questioning. He folds in under 2 hours, trading everything he knows for a reduced sentence. He gives them Victor's location. Victor Ashworth is traced to a coastal town in Portugal within 72 hours. He's arrested trying to board a boat with a suitcase full of documents and 3 passports in different names. Julian is cleared. Publicly, formally, completely. I'm standing outside the courthouse when the official statement is released, and I watch the tension leave his body in real time. His shoulders drop, his jaw unclenches, his eyes close for a long moment. And when they open, they find mine through the crowd of reporters and cameras, and the look in them is the look I saw that first night in my bar, but different now. Not desperation, not grief. Something new. Something that looks like the beginning of something. The clients get their money back. The firm is dissolved. Neither Julian nor the memory of Victor can sustain it. But Julian's name is clean. The press covers the story for a week. Julian Cross, the billionaire who was framed by his own partner and cleared by evidence he found himself. They call him the most betrayed man in finance. He hates it. "I wasn't betrayed by finance," he says. "We're in the bar. My bar. The Rusty Nail at 11:47 p.m. on a Thursday, exactly 1 month after he first walked through the door. I was betrayed by someone I loved like a brother. I know. And I was saved by someone I'd never met. I know that too." He's sitting in his stool, the corner one, the one that's been his since the first night. The glass of Jameson is in front of him, and this time, for the first time, he drinks it. I watch him drink. I think about the first night. The soaked coat, the unfocused eyes, the grip on the doorframe. I think about the man who sat in my bar and didn't speak, and didn't pay, and didn't explain. And I think about the man sitting here now, cleared, free, lighter than I've ever seen him. And the distance between those 2 men is the distance between drowning and breathing. And I helped him cross it. Not because I had to. Because something in me recognized something in him. A frequency only 2 people who are used to being alone can hear. "Gemma, Julian, I'm in love with you. I know. You're supposed to say something back. I'm supposed to do a lot of things. I'm supposed to not lie to detectives and not hide evidence and not fall for men who walk in from the rain and upend my entire life. And yet. I lean across the bar. I take his face in my hands. I'm in love with you too, you ridiculous, impossible man. Now finish your whiskey." He finishes his whiskey. He smiles. The real one. The one I've been excavating night by night like an archaeologist, uncovering something ancient and precious, and worth every hour of careful work. I close the bar. He helps me, stacking chairs, wiping tables, the kind of mundane work that billionaires never do, done with the quiet attention of a man who is learning that the best moments aren't the extraordinary ones. They're the ordinary ones shared with the right person. We walk home. My home. The apartment above the bar that smells like hops and old wood, and has a heater that only works if you hit it twice. He's been staying here more nights than not. His penthouse sits empty across the city while he sleeps in my bed, with my second-hand sheets and my one good pillow. You could stay at your place, I say, same as every night. You have a bed that probably costs more than this building. I have a bed, he says. I don't have you in it. That was smooth. I've been practicing. We fall asleep with the bar noise from the street below, and the heater clicking its uneven rhythm, and his arm across my waist and my back against his chest. And for the first time in 3 years, this apartment above a bar in a neighborhood that's seen better days feels exactly, precisely, irrevocably like home. Epilogue. 1 year later, the rusty nail reopens as Gemma's. Same location, same worn wooden bar, same corner stool that Julian still claims every Thursday night. He funded the renovation. Not as charity, but as an investment. Your bar has a loyal customer base and a prime location, he said with a straight face, while writing a check that made my knees weak. It's a sound business decision. You're investing in a bar because you fell in love with the bartender. Those things are not mutually exclusive. We got married at the bar. Where else? A Thursday night. 30 people. Petra officiated because she got ordained online for the occasion, and because she said, I cracked a federal encryption case for you two. The least you can do is let me do the wedding. Detective Rowan came. She wore a dress, the first time I've seen her out of the blazer, and she brought a gift wrapped in newspaper because I'm not a gift-wrapping person. Deal with it. It was a framed photograph of her old badge from her first year on the force. For the bar, she said. Hang it somewhere visible. It'll keep the drunks in line. She sat in the back and drank Jameson, and when Julian and I kissed, she raised her glass and shook her head like a woman who has seen everything and is still somehow surprised. Petra cried. She also hacked the jukebox to play our first dance song on repeat, which was both touching and technically illegal, which is very on brand for the woman who cracked a federal encryption case in her pajamas. Tommy the firefighter gave a toast. It was mostly about how he knew Julian was sweet on the bartender, from night one, and how nobody listens to retired firefighters anymore. And it went on for 12 minutes, and everyone loved it. My mother flew in from Vermont. She met Julian, studied him with the intensity of a woman who raised a daughter alone, and has strong opinions about men, and said, He has kind eyes. But if he hurts you, I have cats who will find him. Julian took this very seriously. Julian sold his share of the dissolved firm and started something new, a foundation that helps people who've been wrongly accused. Legal aid, reputation recovery, financial support for families devastated by false allegations. He runs it from a small office above the bar. I hear him on the phone through the ceiling sometimes, his voice steady and patient, talking to people who sound the way he sounded the night he walked through my door. On our first anniversary, I'm closing the bar when I find him in the back booth. Our booth. He's holding a small box and his eyes are doing the thing they do when he's feeling more than he knows how to say. Open it, he says. Inside is a key. Small, brass, old-fashioned. It's the key to a house, he says. Not a penthouse. Not an estate. A house. 3 bedrooms, a garden. A kitchen that's bigger than this bar. 3 bedrooms? 1 for us. 1 for guests. He pauses. One for whoever comes next. I look at him. This man who walked in from the rain. This man I lied for, fought for, fell for. In that order, against all logic, against all reason, against every instinct except the one that mattered. Whoever comes next, I repeat, and my hand goes to my stomach, and his eyes go wide, and for the second time in his life, Julian Cross is completely, utterly undone. Gemma. Surprise. He pulls me into his arms. He holds me the way he held that whiskey glass the first night, with both hands, like something precious he was afraid to drink, and afraid to set down and afraid to lose. I think about the girl behind the bar, the one who lied for a stranger because her gut said, protect him. The one who chose instinct over logic and a rainstorm over common sense. Some lies save people. Some strangers become family. And sometimes the most irrational thing you've ever done turns out to be the most important. He walked in at 11:47 on a Thursday. I lied for him at 12:15. I fell for him somewhere between the fourth night and the fifth, between the silence and the confession, between the whiskey and the truth. And I never let him walk out.